This bombshell yesterday, cutting 1 million barrels a day for February and March. You said yesterday it's a preemptive measure, but I want to get a sense. What are you hearing from your customers? Are they saying that the demand outlook is so bad that you needed to take this drastic cut?
Well, on a lighter note, you used two adjectives, muscle stretching and bombshell. And actually, yesterday was a graceful day for us because we're actually extending support and help to the industry as opposed to being an aggressor.
Right. Are you also going to cut exports, though, by the same amount, or will you maintain exports and you're just going to draw down on your inventories?
No. When we talk about OPEC, when we talk about production, we talk about production which encompass everything. So it is our sales to the domestic market and also exports. So the curtailment will come from our sales, which is encompass both the domestic and the international sales.
What will happen in April?
In terms of impacting the market, it will be a solid, I would say, 1 million plus our contribution of the 425,000 that the others had agreed to continue not to bring to the market, both in the month of February and the additional 425 that was supposed to be brought into the market in the month of March.
March, right. But what happens in April? Does the 1 million barrels a day come back, or will you then gradually increase production?
Well, what we have said last night is that this voluntary cut will be for 2 months, the months of February and March. And as it is today, like what we did in June, we had a voluntary cut with our friends Kuwait, UAE and Kuwait. And we stick to what we have said in the original voluntary cut.
The EIA data just came out, Your Royal Highness, and Saudi imports to the United States plunged to 0 last week, the first time we've seen that since 1985. Is this a way that you're going to be driving down U.S. inventory levels by not exporting to the United States?
Well, we are at loss. If Aramco, well, first of all, this is not a decision of the government. Aramco, as a company, is commissioned to, based on its concession terms and conditions, which is a typical concession terms as Exxon, as Chevron, as PP, as Shell. They are supposed to sell their crudes, enumerate the government for the sales of this crude based on trying to maximize their sales price, and they usually go for where the market would give them a higher netback. And as a result of the transformative nature of what went to the U.S. markets and the U.S. production, obviously this gradual phase out had taken place. Keep in mind that in the months of March and April, we were selling a lot of barrels, while set in the month of December, we were selling roughly around 9 million barrels. So our exports had decreased, while also production of the U.S. had somewhat improved or stabilized. And there are other sellers to the U.S. market, which selling to the U.S. would give them better netback than having to sell somewhere else. So it's pure commercial. It's pure commercial rather than political choice or or directed by political aspiration or objectives.
I want to get a sense from you about why the turnaround yesterday. You spent a lot of time bringing the laggards in, and you said many times to me last year that Saudi Arabia will not go it alone. You want everyone to cut equally and share the burden. But now you are sharing a big burden with this 1 million barrel a day cut. Why the U-turn?
Well, it is not a U-turn. It's the same, maintaining the same course, because the same thing could have been said about us and what we did with Kuwait and UAE in June. This time around, as I was saying in the press conference, that we didn't even consult with anybody. We felt that our partners in OPEC, for all sorts of reasons, have underwent a very hard and rough experience, so has the entire industry. And asking them for an additional cut or restrictions is going to be too excruciating for all of them. So we opted to take that option, which is a simple, easy option. We know for certain that we could do it. And as you have just said, it is going to be confined to a 2-month period, which I believe is done for a good purpose too. We still have some stocks to withdraw. We moved people, and I'm glad that we have succeeded 2 days ago to move people towards accepting that the inventory range should change to one that is more realistic, which is the 2015, 2019. If you look at the, what I call it, the corridor between the two, we are still not in anywhere near the average. And for us to move with this, plus convincing others, keep in mind that others are going to be cutting because they were anticipating an increase in February and an incremental.
But Your Royal Highness, with all due respect, though, Russia is, though, increasing. It's a smidgen, but they're increasing, and you're decreasing. Are the two biggest leaders of this cooperation diverging in how they think and feel about the market?
No, I think the idea of bringing 23 countries together, and you would assume that everybody's going to line up based on the emphasis or the direction or the analysis of one country, is, I think, detrimental to any gathering of such nature. We drove a consensus approach, and we continue to drive that as a basic. Keep in mind, when we first met in Abu Dhabi, I think you were there with me, where I said, I will give due respect and due importance to the smallest producer within OPEC Plus, equal importance to the biggest producer within OPEC Plus. Because without which, I don't think we will have that gathering continuity. People would differ, yes, but would differ, and we will be accommodating. That's why you saw the result of the meeting yesterday. There are those who decided to continue the pace and never not to increase. There are those who asked for an incremental increase to attend to a particular situation for them, which is the winter months. And there is this Saudi Arabia, which came up with this incredible gesture of goodwill. But
it's a shock. You caught many people on the back foot. Your Royal Highness, well, I just want to end on the incoming.
I'm not sure it's a shock. It's a shock for the speculators, and good luck. And I think they're having a nice time to reconsider what they've been doing to the market. But don't deny me or deny Saudi Arabia the right to say, we gave the whole industry a wonderful present and a wonderful surprise.
It is a present, and it's a present to the United States of America and the shale industry. We have an incoming new administration, and they're about to potentially flip they're about to potentially flip the Senate, and we've already heard some tough talk from this administration about Saudi Arabia. Now, the same day you make this 1 million barrel a day cut, we also see a rapprochement with Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Is this an olive branch, Your Royal Highness, to the United States?
Well, our schedulers did not meet to make sure that these two dates coincide with each other. But if it is, then it's indeed a good Tuesday. But trust me, there was nothing in any way that was engineered, if you could call it, to meet a target or an expectation of as such.
But was this an olive branch to the incoming Biden administration?
I failed to see any correlation between the two.
Okay, no correlation. Your Royal Highness Prince.
Between the two events, OPEC meeting, the GCC, we've always been cordial and congenial with any U.S. administration, past, present, and the future. And I've been saying quite along, at least from our energy perspective, that we've worked with so many administrations. Personally, I did. So many secretaries, both part of the political parties, and we've always found a great deal of common agenda and common interests and common activities that we can, in this forthcoming administration, I certainly would have a lot to work with in terms of energy, renewable energy, CCE, circular carbon economy, the climate change, and also efficiency. I could sit here and enumerate 30, 40 different activities that we could work with the U.S. Based on the forthcoming administration agenda.